Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, a mother's heartbreak following her son's murder. The House passes the state of emergency resolution. Plus, the F&M ratifies 2 more candidates. Lanisha Roll reacts. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, the mother of a 15-year-old boy who was stabbed to death at Government High School cried on her son's shoulder as she recalled receiving the heartbreaking news that her child had been killed. The teen's older brother says he lost the closest person to him. Jared Higgs has their story.
I love my son so much. My son was me. I was meant to be.
Grieving family members tell Our News the student who was stabbed and killed at Government High School is 15-year-old Kem Paul.
Tearing me apart because that's my only brother.
Paul and another student were reportedly talking in the corridor when they were approached by 2 other students. An altercation ensued and police say knives were drawn. Paul and another boy were stabbed. He died while the other student was hospitalized.
First time the principal called me, Monday, first time the office called me when he died.
Our News spoke to Paul's grieving mother and brother at their home off Carmichael Road. They describe him as a quiet teenager who liked basketball and track and field. But his mother, Marie-Jean Gustave, admits that she had concerns about the friends he kept. She says keeping track of him was more difficult since he lived with his father on Market Street, despite her pleading for him to stay with her.
I said, please give me my son. I say, I know he have bad friend on this area. I say, if you don't want to give it to me, you have to move.
Paul's brother, 19-year-old Stanley Paul, looks down as we speak. Losing his only brother has been terribly difficult. He lived with Kem and their father. Sadly, he missed a chance to see his brother for the last time on Tuesday morning.
I didn't even get to see him that morning before he going to school. I saw him that night before. We was cracking jokes and laughing. And then every morning he's normally come knock on my room door and tell me give him some cologne and he's gonna tell me going to school. But I didn't even get to see him that morning.
The heartbroken brother says his younger sibling dreamt of going away to college to play sports and earn a degree. As his mother cries on his shoulder, he remembers their younger days.
Growing up, that's the only person I ever had in my life. The only closest person to me in my life.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, the resolution to extend the state of emergency was passed in the House of Assembly this afternoon, bringing the Minnis administration one step closer to extending it for another 3 months. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis also revealed restrictions will be tightened on family islands where cases have surged. Jasmine Brown reports.
Proceedings in the House of Assembly this morning were relatively brief as there were only 4 speakers, and one of them was the Prime Minister, who revealed those new restrictions.
On the recommendation of health officials, because of concern for an increase in cases in Andros, an increase in cases in the Berry Islands and Cat Island, the daily curfew will now be from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. effective Thursday, the 20th of May, 2021.
On Tuesday, Cat Island recorded 17 new cases of COVID-19, more than half of the total cases recorded since March 2022. Cat Island has recorded a total of 33 cases of the virus. On Sunday, Andros confirmed 9 new cases. The Berry Islands has also seen a steady increase in COVID cases in recent days. Minnis said health teams are headed to Andros, the Berry Islands, and Cat Island to investigate the outbreaks.
Vaccination teams will also be deployed to these islands. Any other additional measures will be announced depending on the findings of the investigation team.
The resolution to extend the state of emergency for another 3 months was passed in the House of Assembly on Wednesday afternoon. However, the Prime Minister has expressed hope that the Bahamas will be in a position to abandon the state of emergency before then. Opposition leader Philip Brave Davis says they do not support the resolution and they are not buying the Prime Minister's explanation.
Yes,
He said he hopes that this will end by August. Who don't believe him? Who believes him? Right? Outside these yes men and those who have to jump up now to audition for whatever they see.
Davis and the Prime Minister butt heads at several points during the debate.
I'm giving you a lesson in science, of which I said you don't understand. A lesson in science, Mr. Speaker.
One test came, the same test.
The two party leaders also clashed over the vaccination program and Davis' vaccination experience.
I called for my second vaccine. They sent me a reservation. They gave me a time to turn up. That's why I turned up. Not that they didn't tell me.
So I accept that there was a disconnect, but you were so hurried, you were there with your arm.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And Minister of Health Renward Wells revealing that 24% of Bahamians in priority groups have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, adding to the more than 40,000 people who got the jab.
The Uniform Branch Service have had 1,199 persons vaccinated of its 7,770 individuals, a 15.4%. Among those 60 years and older, 6,339 of the 28,630, or 22.1% of those 60 and older, have been vaccinated.
Wells says nearly half of healthcare workers have been vaccinated.
Among all healthcare workers, clinical and non-clinical, some 2,626 persons of some 5,771, or 45.5%, have been vaccinated.
The health minister added he believes getting vaccinated is the moral thing to do.
Mark 12 and 30 and 31, we are encouraged that the two greatest laws is to love God and to love our neighbor. If we love God and appreciate life, we will do all that we can to stay alive and to stay well.
And the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union in uproar over reports that Atlantis will pay 700 redundant workers severance packages in 3 installments instead of one lump sum. Berthany McDermott has that.
An official at Atlantis confirming plans to pay those 700 employees recently made redundant in 3-month installments instead of paying one lump sum. The Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union advised workers not to sign the form, noting that the union is against the move. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagula says the resort has faced financial challenges.
Atlantis was extremely financially challenged, we were led to believe, and they needed to get additional funding in place and rework their balance sheet and take into consideration what has happened with the onset of COVID.
On Monday, Atlantis President Audrey Oswell announced plans to make 700 employees redundant. Documents obtained by Our News reveal that the workers are set to receive their payouts in 3 monthly installments beginning at the end of May and ending in July.
I'm sure that it was a cash flow consideration. What do we have the cash right now to take care of, and can we, over a certain period of time, be allowed to fulfill this obligation to our staff based on the cash that we have in our bank. And you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people who say, oh, they have the cash and they could do it. I mean, obviously, the business comes to us and the government has been pushing. And I want everyone to know the government has been pushing for the settlement.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis called this approach cruel and suggested the Minnis administration could have been more proactive.
It's perhaps more cruel not to be giving them their monies all at once. We understand the situation with what's going on in the economy, but at the very least, it just didn't have to be done this way.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
The Free National Movement ratifying 2 more candidates for the upcoming general election last night. Maxine Seymour is set to run in Seabreeze, the constituency currently held by former Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Lanisha Roll. We asked Roll if she had hoped to receive the F&M's nomination and if she'll support the party's candidate.
I know you don't want me to be superfluous. I won't say that again, but I will say that the party has made its decision, and I wish the party all of the best.
Meanwhile, Quentin Persenti will run against PLP incumbent Glenys Hannah Martin in Englerston. The party says each candidate will bring fresh ideas and a commitment to serving as a voice for all Bahamians. And we saw the breeze pick up today. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christine, and a happy Wednesday evening, everybody. Breezy conditions outside. Temperatures are on the warm side as well. Temperatures in the mid-70s, 77 outside our studios. We call it partly cloudy. Those winds are whipping out there at 13 knots, and they are gusting higher, so it's very breezy. Feels like temperature also in the mid-70s. Satellite view, that frontal boundary across the central and southeast Bahamas producing quite a bit of cloudiness across the area. Northwest Bahamas seeing some partly cloudy skies, but some showers and thunderstorms across the southeast Bahamas will continue tonight as that frontal boundary remains across the area. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, the National Security Minister addresses school security concerns, plus a businessman's record expunged. Stay with us.
Every new season of On the Record, we push the limits. Venture into unknown territory. We take our cameras into places unseen before. We share the stories and experiences that affect us all. And now it's time for Season 5. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on RTV Cable Channel 212 and streaming live on Facebook on the R News Bahamas page.
The stabbing death of a 15-year-old boy at Government High School has prompted calls for beefed-up security at schools. National Security Minister Marvin Dames was asked about police presence at schools during a news conference at GHS today.
Before this incident, I was advised that the police had a presence on the campus. Now, are they on campus throughout school hours? No, they're not, but they have their initiatives and their outreach. The principal spoke about Chief Superintendent Barrett and his presence and his office's presence. And we know that these are irregular school hours as well. It's not a normal school setting.
Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd expressing condolences to the family and friends of 15-year-old Ken Paul, who was stabbed on Tuesday.
Be grieved, be hurt, and yes, some angry. And I offer you my entire being and all of the resources of the Ministry of Education. Our prayers send to you divine energetic energy to salve your wounds, because we hurt.
Principal Eloise Wims says she supports the school's mantra of safety first and described Tuesday's stabbing as an isolated incident. She says students are thoroughly searched before they enter the campus, and she doesn't think heavy police presence is needed.
I believe what we would have had in the past is a release relationship with the school, where the police become a part of our family, would definitely help. Now, what I will say is that we don't need a dray load of police officers. My thing is we have programs set, and I must say to the commissioner and his team and the others, that is in place at Government High.
Well, a 54-year-old businessman was all smiles after getting a second chance today. 19 years ago, Perry Mortimer was caught with 6 grams of marijuana. Today, the charge of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply was removed from his record by the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee.
I'm just going to thank the Father and thank the committee and thank everybody for after almost 20 years, I'm free, and so, that's like a burden off me. Maybe 20, 30 years from now, when history is written, I might, have a clean record, so, something wouldn't be following me, and maybe my grandchildren and great-grandchildren would say, well, he messed up, but he got himself together.
123 people have applied to the committee to have their records expunged so far. 19 have been granted. Committee Chairman Paul Farquharson says many young men have a stain on their record due to similar offenses.
But the day has come. He has met all of the requirements requirements for the expungement of his record. He's a prominent businessman, and he is really persevered. And therefore, on behalf of this committee, I want to extend to you all best wishes.
Well, a group of United States senators penned letters to U.S. President Joe Biden urging him to prioritize the Bahamas for vaccine donations. Bethany McDermott reports.
2 United States senators urging President Joe Biden to supply the Bahamas with COVID-19 vaccines, pointing to the country's reliance on tourism and the fact that nearly 77% of visitors to the U.S. for 2021 came from Latin America and the Caribbean. In a letter dated May 14, 2021, U.S. Senators Marco Rubio, Tim Kaine, and Robert Menendez said, "We welcome the administration's early decision to aid Canada and Mexico and strongly encourage you to consider similar support for the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and other countries across the region."
Well, there are conversations that have taken place between the Bahamas and the United States on a consistent basis in regards to vaccines with the local U.S. representative here at the embassy. And obviously, we would have spoken to a number of senators inside the United States as well.
On Friday, Florida Senator Rick Scott also wrote to Biden and said, "I am also calling for the United States to consider providing vaccines to the Bahamas. The country of about 380,000 has only been able to vaccinate about 25,000 individuals, or 6.6% of its population."
We appreciate all of the efforts of those in the Foreign Relations Committee. We appreciate particularly Senator Scott. We appreciate Marco Rubio and others who are not as vocal publicly on their efforts to help get vaccines to the Bahamas.
And so we would eagerly await the results.
Now, according to the health minister, the Bahamas has been engaged in conversations with U.S. officials on receiving a portion of vaccines. The conversation, he says, so far has been fruitful.
Very fruitful, very fruitful. Obviously, the letter that is sent speaks to the efforts that the government is undertaking to seek to secure additional vaccines for and on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Still to come inside, a major development on Walker's Key, plus a big win for the men's beach soccer team. Stay tuned.
Every new season of On the Record, we push the limits. Venture into unknown territory. We take our cameras into places unseen before. We share the stories and experiences that affect us all. And now it's time for Season 5. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on RTV Cable Channel 212 and streaming live on Facebook on the R News Bahamas page.
This is our news. Welcome back. A key at the northeastern end of the country is looking to make a major rebound. Millions of dollars have been pumped into Walker's Key to welcome fishermen and those seeking a quiet getaway. Kyle Joaquin has more.
It's been called the rebound of Walker's Key. Sitting 53 miles northeast of West End Grand Bahama, Walker's Key will soon return to its glory days. Philanthropist and marlin fishing enthusiast Carl Allen has major construction underway on the island, poised to welcome visitors who wish to fish, dive, and explore the Barrier Reef and Marine Park.
I'm hoping to get something opened next summer that will have maybe 20 of the rooms. And then as we go, hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have all 50 or so.
Allen and his wife Gigi aren't looking to build a hotel, but little environmentally friendly cottages. While it's expected to be a quaint little getaway, Allen says it'll have the necessary infrastructure to make it perfect, including water treatment, natural gas, and an airport with a 2,600 feet runway.
We'll be staffed to be here full time once we get up and running. We're going to repave the runway once we're getting close, and this will be a little tarmac area, and we might even have a little FBO here at some point. So water, sewage, and treatment, we're putting in a whole facility this island never had, so that again, we will have no emissions coming off this island in terms of sewage or anything like that.
During construction of everything, including a new marina, developers are using lessons learned from Hurricane Dorian.
The old marina, it didn't have that south barrier wall, so that if you had a strong south wind, they had to run everybody out of the marina. So we learned a lot when Dorian hit, that Okay, we had to put that wall, the big L-shaped wall out there, along with this barrier wall here. It's 360 degrees now. It is a hurricane hole.
Walker's Key is just shy of 80 acres and was once a fishing mecca for especially Bahamians.
Very excited about bringing some of the bonefish guides back. There is like 6 of them over there at Little Grand that have been lobster fishing and all that. They'd much rather be bone fishing.
Including some young women.
Yes, and there's a couple of young ladies over there that would absolutely want to be bonefish. So we anticipate putting 8 to 10 of them back to, being bonefish guides. And this is going to be a bonefish lodge, and it's really just going to focus on the shallow water fishing, whereas it'll be a whole different experience than the marina itself. This is deep sea fishing, guys, and it'll be great for bachelor party, corporate events.
A focal point of the marina, a fish weighing station.
I can't wait when the boats come in to see this Walker's Cay. I'll know we've made it when I see a fish hanging there, hopefully in a couple of weeks.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
And in sports, the men's national beach soccer team picking up a big win against the Dominican Republic. Marcellus Hall has that.
All right, thanks so much, Christina. Welcome to Our Sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. The CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships are underway. The Bahamas, with their squad in place, hoping to qualify for the World Cup of Beach Soccer, which is just behind this. So far, things looking pretty good. They were in action yesterday up against the Dominican Republic. Let's take a look. Bahamas men's national beach soccer squad currently abroad, competing at the 2021 CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships. Team playing their second match yesterday as they faced off against the Dominican Republic. Leslie St. Fleur would lead the scoring charge for the Bahamas squad as he scored 5 goals. Team Bahamas gets the easy win, 10-2. Timmy Munnings would also score 2 goals for the Bahamas. Gary Joseph, Kyle Williams, and Evans Julmis adding solo scores for the overall tally. Team Bahamas now 1-1 in the tournament with a match scheduled for today versus El Salvador. Meanwhile, Jazz Chisholm continuing to play well since his return from injury. The Marlins rookie with another solid night at the plate, blasting his 5th home run of the season in the top of the 8th inning. The 2-run shot, his second hit of the night, would put the Marlins on the top 3-1. That, however, would not hold up. The Phillies score 7 in the bottom of the inning. They break the game open, getting the win 8-3. Marlins back at it again tonight against the Phillies for Game 2 of their 3-game set. And so there it is, your check on sports for you here on this Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. When Our News returns, a check on weather with Greg. Stay with us.
Every new season of On the Record, we push the limits. Venture into unknown territory. We take our cameras into places unseen before. We share the stories and experiences that affect us all. And now it's time for Season 5. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on RTV Cable Channel 212 and streaming live on Facebook on the Our News Bahamas page.
Welcome back to Our News. Breezy conditions are expected to continue. Greg has the details.
Thanks again, Christina. June 1st begins the official Atlantic hurricane season. The National Hurricane Center now watching an area out there in the open Atlantic, putting out a 30% chance for some development of the system. System is up near the Bermuda area. Showers and thunderstorms associated with it will stay out in the open Atlantic. A frontal boundary attached to that stretches across the Bahamas, and that's continuing to produce some showers and thunderstorms across the southeast and central islands. As I mentioned, the National Hurricane Center will continue to watch the system. It will drift towards the southwest, but eventually turn back towards the northeast and move into an area hostile for development. So this system will be short-lived, expectedly over the next couple of days. High pressure still out there in the open Atlantic, generating some very strong winds. That's making for some hazardous beaching and boating conditions. Talking about our boating conditions, boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Advisory posted, very strong winds, northeast to east 20 to 25 knots, and they will be gusting high at times. Very rough seas, 6 to 9 feet. Low tide will be at 8:18 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. If you haven't already done so, we are advising you to get your hurricane preparations started as of course the hurricane season begins on June 1st. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Well, it sure feels like summer already, but how does the economy look for the months ahead? Joining us in studio via Skype is RF VP of Investments, David Slatter. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. Thank you.
So, David, what are some of the expectations for the Bahamian economy in the summer months?
Well, we have reason to be a little more bullish about the outlook than we were, say, at the beginning of the year. We've seen there's some positive trends in the number of arrivals at the airport, still far below where they were, say 2019 levels, but at least they're trended in the right direction. And feedback that we received from a number of the major hotels and also some of the travel agents is that the bookings are looking pretty strong for the summer. And the expectation is that the winter season will be very strong. So definitely some reason to be optimistic about the balance of the year.
All right, and we know that several family islands got upgrades to airports or are expecting those upgrades to come online. What is that expected to do for the economy?
Well, you always need to be upgrading and improving your infrastructure. And from a tourism standpoint, recently the upgrades at Exuma, the ground was broken. So that'll be the first airport to receive upgrades. And then the next series of airports will be the North and Luther Airport, the airport in Abaco, and then also Grand Bahama. So positive infrastructure developments. Anybody who's gone downtown has seen the Nassau Cruise Port development progressing well. So, these things will be a 2022 impact from a tourism standpoint, but there will be a positive impact from a job creation standpoint in the meantime.
All right, thank you, David. As always, we're looking forward to seeing what the summer months bring. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.